Assalamu alaikum and dobry večer, brothers and sisters. I decided to come on and make a video about something that has happened here in my state. In fact, not too far from where I live. And I just have to say my piece about it. What happened was a fire chief of a small community that is very close to Des Moines responded to someone's call for help. A man called about his wife who was going into possible diabetic coma because her blood sugar was in the basement. And being a healthcare professional myself and having worked with diabetics, that is something that you cannot allow to happen. But the fire chief came out with one other person from the firehouse, and for lack of better terms, or maybe more politically correct terms, not that I talk like that much anyway, but the chief was drunk off his gourd. And he couldn't do squat. What is up with this? And the guy that came with him had trouble getting the chief to help him do what he was trying to do to save this woman's life. So the husband ended up calling 911 again, and this time asking for the police to bust the fire chief. And sure enough, his blood alcohol level was almost double the legal limit here, which is 0.08 on a breathalyzer thing. And according to the news reports, he could not do a blood draw that a paramedic is supposed to be able to do. His speech was erratic, his behavior was erratic. And so the community tonight had a board meeting, like their city council, to decide whether or not this guy should be canned or given a second chance. He's on suspension right now, but if I were on that city council, I would say that way and don't come back. But since I live in Des Moines and not Carlisle, I obviously can't say that, but I can say this. It doesn't matter what job you have. It doesn't matter what your religious beliefs are. What matters is if you are drunk off your gourd on the clock, you are showing not only disrespect to those who you're supposed to be working with, you are disrespecting your whole community, you are disrespecting yourself, and you are disrespecting the one who created you. Alcohol really messes you up. I have seen it in my family. I have known relatives whose drinking has gotten in the way of their careers. In fact, I had a cousin who could have gotten himself on the Lawrence Welk show as a main accordion player, but because he was a boozer, he was a loser. And he didn't get hired to be on that show, to play with the Lawrence Welk band. But anyway, back to this fire chief. What if there was no one else with him? What if he was the only one alone with his patient, with this person who needed help the most? What would have happened? The woman could have possibly died had it not been for the police coming out and doing a breath test on this fire chief, and then him getting busted. What if the woman was alone? Her husband was not there. You know? We have to think about what our actions do to others. I mean, the guy had a coworker with him. What kind of an example is that? Your boss is drunk and you look up to him for guidance into being a better paramedic or firefighter, or for any position. So we need to do something about this. We need to get people to think about what they're doing when they are picking up that glass or bottle of poison. Now, I used to drink occasionally, maybe once in a few months, and I would use beer to marinate a piece of meat before I cooked it, but you know, I obviously don't do that anymore because I'm a Muslim, and I don't miss it at all. I don't miss it at all. And I want the people who are drinkers right now, who may be watching this, to think about what could have happened to this woman had the proper help not arrived. The woman could have died, but she survived. She is recovering. Now this guy who was drunk off his gourd will have to meet his maker on the day of judgment. He will have to answer for this serious sin. He sinned against himself. He sinned against the person he was sent to save. He sinned against the husband of this diabetic woman. He sinned against his subordinate. He sinned against his community. And he sinned against all paramedics and firefighters. I mean, that's how I feel about it. So I can only hope and pray that people will hear this and think twice about picking up that beer or that wine or that liquor. Pick up some tea instead. Drink some coffee. Drink some Pepsi. You know, mix lemonade and tea together. You know, but let's just lose the booze. And let's keep more people alive. That's my thought for today. Assalamu alaikum, do widzenia, and miasumila.